In the last video, I discovered that my MK4 Golf needed a new radiator. To get to it, I had to remove the fenders. I got one side off, but this side was very rusty. So, let's see what I need to do to get it off. So days later, I came back and decided to try a chisel.
That is not what I wanted to happen. All right, that is closer to what I wanted to happen. Maybe I can preserve this bottom piece. Should have tried that first, but I didn't know it was gonna be so difficult. So now I'm gonna take the fender off. They got some sort of sealant or adhesive on these, and it has to come off to get to the bolt. There we go. They really never wanted anybody to take these off. I mean, I'm just assuming all this stuff was there from the factory. I told my wife I needed to get new fenders, and that I may run different color fenders for a while. And she's like, no. And I was like, well, I could just get different color fenders, and then in silver marker until I get it painted, right on there, I'm a silver fender, you know, on whatever color fender it was. And she said, don't do that. That may play the wrong way with certain audiences. But anyway, I thought it was funny. She's gonna kill me for mentioning it in here, but I still may do it. If I end up in marriage counseling, you'll know why. This car is full of surprises. Just to get a fender off. And that should be it, I thought. So on this side, I'm fighting against this sealant. They put a lot on, so I have to pry it away. All right, that's one part. And now this lower part, which is pretty encased. So come off, see if I can push from the back. All right, I think that should do it. Okay. So this is behind the fender where all the rust was. And it looks pretty good. We're pretty lucky. Now I'll clean this off. And actually this isn't rusty. I mean, this is a little rusty, but I think we're looking a lot better than I thought. Most of the rust was on the fender. If the fender was sacrificial in that way, I can live with it. So now this needs to come off. I think they call it the front bumper beam. And it looks like I have to remove that bolt, those screws, that bolt, and that bolt there. At least that's what it looks like now. All right, let's see. Nope, there's more. There's another one here. And its buddy over here. And then this one. Let's see, is that it? All right, we're getting closer. I'm gonna reposition a lot of these screws so I don't kick them around, just so I know where they came from. And it looks like this is one big, continuous, complicated, molded piece that needs to come off in order to get to the radiator. So I think removing the headlights will help me get a lay of the land and see which fasteners I need to remove. So they're coming off. And there are some screws here, here, and then right here and right here. They can be removed with a Torx bit. And I think this is a T20. Yeah, a T20 will work.
You could also use a socket. I don't know, it's like a 8 or a 9 millimeter. Now I'm just guessing, but this fastener here and this fastener here have twins on the other side. I'm gonna start with them and see if that frees it up. But there's also one up here that I'm gonna take off. So we'll see where we are after doing that. It looks like that piece is connected to this cover here that is behind the headlights. So I'm gonna take these screws out. And it looks like this is a screw that holds it on the ends. So let's take it out. And yeah, it's releasing, so maybe this is the last screw. Well, the way it's leaning, that may be the last one. Looks like the hood latch mechanism is held in by this fastener and this one. Let's see if I remove those, if that'll allow this to remain behind when I take everything else off. It looks like this one's holding it in too. Actually, I think if I just disconnect the cable there, I'll be good to go. I think. So let me just put these in with my hand and see if that cable, I mean, I should have thought of this first, but I didn't see where that cable was connected. So let's see if that works. I'm just gonna pull back on this lever. Ouch, pinched my finger. So I just pull back on that lever. I'm gonna release the cable, as you can see there. Ugh. All right, I hope you can see that. I pulled back on this. That put slack on this guy and allowed me to free it. So I think this whole front section should be able to come off now. All right, hoping that's it. Okay, there's something connected. I don't know what this is, but it is a sensor of some sort. All right, so how does this come off? Is it easy? So I'm taking off this little bracket and see if that makes it any easier. All right, so there is a little lever inside of here. You just pull up on it and that will release it, and ta-da. Yeah, it took me a while to figure it out, but nevertheless, it's disconnected. All right, let's see if I can pull it off now. Almost. There is this connection here that is keeping the cable attached to the big piece, and here's another view of it here. So I'm just gonna pull it out of it and it should just come out. But anyway, you see where it is, and I'm gonna see if I can get it out. It should just, I'll knock the camera down, but there it is, and it came from right there. If I ever have to do this again, I will know. Let's see if I can take everything off now. All right, and there is the radiator. All right, now there is a connector here. I imagine this is the coolant temperature sensor. So we can disconnect it. There's a latch on both sides you gotta grab. Well, I got it off, but it was really on there. And this is something I should have done before I got to this point. I could have done this with everything still connected because I believe this was accessible. So I am going to remove this connector that holds the tube to the radiator. I do like this though. All right, so it is in its release position and I should be able to just work it off. Always easier said than done. I keep breaking stuff. I need to take my time. Anyway, I'm gonna take this all the way off. Do not think you need to take it all the way off, but all right. I disconnected these fan connections and they came off a lot easier than the others. If they were connected like this, pushing down this lever and wiggling, and they came off pretty good. Again, if you can get your hand in there or come up from the bottom and disconnect these before you do this, that's the way to do it. So I'm gonna release this little hose holder. And now I'm gonna release this clips that holds the radiator hose in. This does not want to come off. Change of plans. Since this hose clamp is easier to get to, I am going to see if I have better luck taking this off, and I'll work with the radiator once everything is off the car. Yeah, it's already moving a bit. There we go. So now I have to remove the condenser from the radiator. Oh. Is that it? That is not it. This little turn here is held on with yet another screw. And is it of the same size? It is. All right, I think that is it. No, that is not it. And wouldn't you know, the part that I had trouble disconnecting is stopping it. So if you're a Volkswagen or a Mark IV guy, let me know. I'm looking at it and I'm not seeing an easy way to do this, because everything that the radiator and the condenser mount to had to come off. So after all that, it was finally time to open the new radiator and install it. And it looks like I have a problem. The radiator I have seems to be the right dimensions, but the sensor port is not in the right location on the new one. And look at where the hoses connect. One connects there, one connects there, and they're over here. So if I flip it around and have the right hose connections, then the sensor port is in the wrong location. But it looks like where the fans mount are right or close to right, but yeah, this one's not gonna work. But I will take the fans off because they have to come off anyway. And with the fans off, I can see that it also doesn't have, so there's supposed to be some posts that come out here, and it doesn't have those. So now I am still looking for a radiator. And with it out, let's see if I can pull this off now. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you got better leverage, but I did make a little bit of a mess. It sprayed all the way over there. So I returned the other one and picked this one up, and it has all the parts. So now I'm gonna put everything onto the new radiator. After going through all this trouble, I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should have got an all aluminum radiator. Is this way to get them off advised? I don't know, but it's working. And save a little scarring, they are fully intact. And here is a look at where the old radiator was leaking. And these have slots, so they'll only go back on to the new radiator one way. Some very light taps. Come on. And now the fans. Let's see if everything lines up. And everything lines up as it should. And since I have this off out here, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the lower radiator hose on right now. And it looks like this clip is not meant to be taken all the way off, but that's what I did. So now I have to put it all the way back on. It has these little detents for it. And I made sure that this is seated all the way on such that this can go into the little slot. So now I just snap it on. Sometimes I think Volkswagen is a bit extra, but that is pretty neat. So there are these radiator bushings that go on the lower part, but they just kind of slide on a lot easier than the others. There's one for each side. So what I'm gonna try and do is reconnect this to the radiator. There were 3 screws on this side and 2 on this side. I got it positioned. Now I'm just going to line up this with this little flange that is on the condenser. Almost all the way in. Do the same thing down there, and I think the rest should line up pretty easily. These are self-tapping plastic screws, so you do have to provide a bit of torque. Now for the last one. So now I'm gonna put this tube back on. Ooh-wee, the wife is back with delicious food. Let's see if I can get this on before we go eat. So now I'm gonna reconnect the upper radiator hose. All right. Remember I mentioned this? They look to be symmetrical and they just go like that. There's one on the other side too. And this grand molded piece, I don't know what you call it, but it has some key features that I'm gonna have to pay attention to. These slots that are tapered inward, this is where the bushings that hold the radiator will end up. Right here, you see how they have the similar shape? They're gonna end up in there. They're gonna be fastened with those bolts there. So I'm gonna position it and use the top 2 fasteners to hold it in place. The front side of those tapered slots are here and here, and there's some others on the other side. So I'm gonna see if I can line the radiator up and get it mounted into it. So I got the bottom in and the top nearly in. Almost. All right, it's there. You can see I got the hole lined up. So now I'm just gonna hold it close enough for the screw to grab, and then I'm gonna work my way around. So I got the top one on the driver's side started. Now I just gotta position the passenger side. There we go. With both of the tops lined up, the bottoms are exactly where they should be. And the temperature sensor, I can plug right back up. And with that, the new radiator is installed. In the next video, I'll continue with reassembling the car but I will also hopefully be installing new fenders. I also still have the oil pan to do and the side marker lights to replace. If you'd like to follow along, hit subscribe. If you like to see the things I've already done to my Mark IV Golf, check out my playlist. Thanks for watching. Take care.